I'm back. Hi. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good everything. Wherever you are at this particular instant on the surface of the earth, listening to me and seeing me. Always exciting coming into this space. Yep, the word cafe, space. The positivity here invites more positivity. This is the space where we come in to lean on one another's experience to forge a positive path. Yep, I'm with my coffee. How are you? I ask that question not rhetorically. I ask it with an intent because I care. We care in this space. That's why we come to share positivity, to uplift you. So, I'm back in the space. Coffee is my thing. Don't mind me. I guess I've told you one or two things about coffee. I won't go over it again this time. Let me just quickly finish this and we go into what we have for today. An amazing cup of coffee. Yes. So, what are we going to be doing today? Just want to take a comfortable position, then we start. And before we do anything, I want to share a thought with you. That's not what we're going to be talking about, but it's going to be a precursor to what we'll be talking about today. I saw a quote or a line from Elon Musk. You know him. Is he the billionaire or the trillionaire now? Something I consider we should begin the show with, and I'll tell you what we'll be talking about today. He said, my mind is a storm. Some people think they can be me. They cannot. Like, he's always restless. His ideas are amazing. So, his mind is a storm. Can you imagine someone's mind being a storm? So what goes through his mind? His thoughts are faster than the speed of light, if you want to say that. So it brings me to what I want to share with you today. It stems from a movie I saw a while ago, I think months or a year or two ago. And I'm going to put this in a frame. The war of ideas. You've heard this thought before. A good number of us, you must have come across it. Ideas rule the world. Yeah, ideas rule the world. Most of the things we see all around us, if not all, are people's ideas. They have the courage to follow through, not minding the naming and shaming and all of that. And the world is always at war with itself when it comes to ideas. You either see new thinking versus old thinking, new school or old school versus new school. You see entitlement mindset versus ownership mindset. These two forces always are at each other's neck, so to speak, and all of these frames our world. So I came across this movie. A good number of us must have seen it. If you've not, then listen. The Current War. Yes, this was, the advent of the birthing of electricity. Discovering the power of electricity, harnessing nature's energy in form of light and all of that. Then there came a time when we had Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. I've talked about Nikola on the show before. I had this amazing mind who came to share. He calls himself Nikola Tesla expert, and he is. He did a lot. There's a movie he's working on, and check out for it. So, Nikola had a thought. Thomas Edison, most of us must have come across him when you talk about the invention of the light bulb, with the help of Latimer and the rest of them. He came up with the idea of the DC, direct current. He championed it. That's Thomas Edison, while Nikola championed the alternating current. So there came a time when there was this war. Nikola was talking about alternating currents. Why Edison, Nikola Tesla, I mean. A good number of us don't know Tesla at this age, apart from those of us who spent some time to read. Once I called the name, they said, it's not the Elon Musk. No, excuse me. His car is called Tesla, quite all right. But there's a man called Nikola Tesla, a Serbian American. He was a Serbian American. Most of his works are still top secret in the US. His thoughts were amazing. Out of this world, otherworldly, if I must use that word. So he promoted alternating current, and there was a big war. He was backed by George Westinghouse. So let me give you how the war turned out. So direct current versus alternating current. So the DC, as it's called for short, Edison preferred that was his quote unquote his technology, which flows in a singular direction. Why it worked well for shorter distances, it faced limitations, in transmitting over long distances as is required by power. So DC current just works for a short distance. But Nikola talked about AC, that's alternating current. This solution, which periodically reverses direct current, it allows it to be transmitted over long distances with less power loss, making it more efficient for widespread use. So you see now, and again, Nikola, as at that time, was a younger person, age-wise, compared to Edison, who was older and, would I say, quote unquote, had more experience. So the competition and tactics. Edison waged a strong campaign against the alternating current, including the public relations battle to portray it as dangerous. His tactics included demonstrations where he showed alternating current's potential dangers, even using it to electrocute animals, to show its hazards. Edison and Westinghouse's companies clashed in contracts, including notable projects like the lightning of the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, where Westinghouse and Tesla's AC system ultimately won. So the end result, over time, alternating current proved to be more practical for mass distribution due to its efficiency over long distances. Eventually became a standard for electricity distribution, while the DC current, as in DC, I beg your pardon, direct current, found its place in certain applications, particularly where stable voltage was essential, such as in electronics. So the legacy. The war of current set the stage for modern power systems, and its highlights. One of the earliest industrial competitions were innovation, publicity, and all of that. And strategy shaped technology adoption as on a global scale. The rivalry also cemented Tesla's legacy as an inventor, while Edison's reputation as an industrialist and promoter of new technology continued to grow. So if you look at these two things today, the DC and AC, you see that with making DC a comeback in high voltage direct current, they call it HVDC, applications for modern power grids. The war of current exemplifies the technological battles that have been, that have driven innovation and shaped industries. Now let us see. Now when you look at the war closely, the war, when I say the war, I guess your mind is going that were they fighting with arms and all of that. So let us go. So you see, war of currents, it was a generational war. What do I mean by that? Expressed through ideas. A powerful way to understand the deeper dynamics at play here. Edison and Tesla represented two different approaches, not only to technology, but to thinking and risk-taking, reflecting a shift in how society approached invention, innovation, and even the perception of what was possible. So, new thinking versus supposedly old thinking. The progressive versus the fixed, so to say. So now the old guard versus the new way of thinking. Edison was deeply invested in the world of practical, incremental inventions. His approach was rooted in maximizing the reliability of existing technologies and building a stable business model around them, often favoring what already he knew, as in, I don't want to change it. This is work. It works, like the Americans will say. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So, which was exemplified in the DC power. But Tesla, by contrast, embodied a visionary, forward-looking mentality that welcomed radical innovation. So Tesla's AC system was complex, requiring a new way of thinking, about electricity's potential to reach far beyond the limitation of direct current. His approach was high risk, favoring long-term gains over immediate profit, and challenged the status quo. Yep, he did. Why? Why not? Why should we, if not? So, economic interest and established power. Edison's business model was deeply tied to infrastructure and financial investment, already, poured into that DC system. They've invested so much. So switching to AC, it was a threat, not only to Edison's inventions, but the financial interest. So you see, there's a larger scheme here of those who had backed him, so representing an older generation of established inventors. So Westinghouse's support, because he really supported Tesla, the AC system and all of that, attracted a newer generation of investors willing to take big risks on revolutionary ideas that could redefine energy's reach, making a shift towards big picture thinking and what have you, future-centric technology. Now we had ideology clash also. So the generational aspect extends to ideas on innovation itself. Edison exemplified the tradition, the old model, traditional way of, patent-heavy, commercially driven inventions that turned incremental improvements into profitable businesses. Tesla, however, pursued bold scientific discoveries, focusing on the science behind electricity than, on immediate commercial success. It's not as if he wasn't looking at the commercial success, but his was like, he projected into the future, so to say. So these divergence echoes the age-old clash between those who prioritize refinement within known frameworks and those who believe in leaping beyond the known boundaries of technology. Tesla's ideas pointed towards a more open source spirit that resonate with how many innovators, approach technology today. So the public perception and cultural shifts. The war of currents also tapped into public fears and excitement about technology. Edison's sensationalized demonstrations of AC, as in alternating currents dangers, appealed to an audience that was cautious of new technology. The older generation, I must say, can you imagine if this can happen to animals, what's going to happen to us? So a mindset more typical of older generation that tend to favor gradual change. Tesla's vision for AC as alternating current, on the other hand, attracted a growing fascination with what electricity could achieve in the future, sparking the imagination of a new generation ready to embrace high-impact, transformative ideas. So this clash of ideas ultimately symbolize a cultural transition. We'll get to that very soon. In the society, like I said, we have this two mindset working in every society, in every given time. There's this clash, you may say clash of titans, if I may use that word. So the war of current wasn't merely a debate over electricity. No, it was beyond that electrical standard. It was also a reflection of shift from cautious, profit-driven development to daring, scientific-driven exploration. Tesla's vision triumphed in shaping the electrical infrastructure, but Edison's model of invention left an enduring legacy on the business side of innovation. In that sense, the war of currents stands, one of history's most poignant, as in examples of a generational divide expressed in the language of technology. Now, let us look at something, the power struggle. So when you look at the narrative, there's a parallel here when you compare it to what is happening today in our own generation. There's this generational war. It often revolves around the clash of ideas, values, vision, for the future. The approach could reveal a cyclical nature of technological revolutions where each generation disrupts established norms, to push society forward. We often face resistance. You're just like, you guys, what are you talking about? We're used to this. Where are you guys bringing all of this from? So let us see something here. Let's draw a parallel. The power struggle of a new age, the generational war of ideas. So in the late 19th century, the war of currents, was fought with electricity, wires, brilliant minds. Thomas Edison was there. Nikola Tesla became symbolic warriors, for their respective causes. Edison championed the direct current. He represented a safe, proven path. Tesla, on the other hand, advocated, for alternating current. This embodied a daring vision. Yeah, a daring vision. Like, what are you talking about? It challenged the limitations. Their clash was more than just a battle over electricity standard. It was a generational war over ideas. Yep. So reflecting broader shifts in values, ambition, belief in the power of technology to reshape the world. So today, we're drawing a parallel. Today, the echoes of that historical battle, AC, DC, still resonates in the generational divide we see around us. Just as Edison and Tesla clashed over DC and AC, we now have boomers, Gen X, and now millennials and Gen Z. They find themselves in this ideological standoffs over issues that will shape the future. Climate, technology, artificial intelligence, work ethics, and even, the very structure of society. So by comparing these two, the past and the present, you see the conflicts. So we see the timelessness of generational divides in tech space and larger cultural landscape. Now let us look at it. The drive for stability versus the hunger for change. So Edison's pragmatic, incremental approach to DC, it reflects the mindset of an older generation invested in stability and credibility. His focus was, on making reliable improvements to existing technology, much like today's boomers and Gen X, who often prioritize steady careers, proven business models, and gradual change. We call them the old school. Then look at Tesla's boundary pushing approach with his AC as an alternating current. By contrast, it speaks to millennials and Gen Zs, or as we call them today, hunger for the transformative change. These younger generations have grown up with technology and global crises that call for radical solutions, whether through clean energy, climate tech, AI, just as Tesla saw the potential of alternating current to reach beyond the limitations of direct current. So millennials and Gen Z push for technology that can scale and solve problems on a global level. Risk aversion versus embracing disruption. So when you look at the war of currents, Edison took a calculated approach, more or less, hedging his bets on the safety, play safe of direct current, and launching public demonstration to point AC as one dangerous and something reckless. His method could be likened to the approach of today, what we have today, of those today who are cautious about the rapid adoption of new technologies, wary of the implications of artificial intelligence. They are coming. AI, the bots, they are coming. Or concerned about the gig economy's instability. On the other hand, we look at how Tesla represented the spirit of disruption, the way the millennials and Gen Zs will look at it today, especially with their embrace of emerging fields like cryptocurrency, clean energy, decentralized finance. The younger generation is willing to challenge long-held norms, and take risk, prioritizing innovation over immediate security. A mindset that often replaces them as odds, with older generation wary of untested technology. Am I losing you there? Am I? I don't think so. I know you're here with me. All right. Public relations and the power of perception. So when you look at what Edison did, when he took up the campaigns against AC, he's like, no, this points to a long-standing tactic in generational conflicts. Yes, come up with a PA campaign, controlling the narrative. So Edison manipulated public opinions, making AC look bad and dangerous. So today's tech-savvy younger generation use social media to challenge the narrative, yes, of established institutions. They are wielding new tools, viral content, digital advocacy, grassroots movement, to sway public opinions, and often exposing perceived hypocrisies in traditional systems around climate, work-life balance, and wealth distribution. So the older generation, meanwhile, use more established media and networks to assert the importance of tried and true models, just as Edison did with his DC infrastructure. The result is tug of war over narrative. Who controls the narrative? With each generation attempting to shape public opinion in its favor. So technology as a symbol of future identity. For Tesla, AC, that's alternating current, was more than technology. It was a symbol of future potential and human progress. Similarly, younger generations today see technology not just as a tool, but as part of an identity. They are shaping industries around the technology's role in personal freedom, community, and self-expression, often exploring new digital landscape such as the metaverse, AI-powered social platforms. In contrast, older generation may view these as novelties or even distractions, emphasizing instead of the tangible physical infrastructure and economy they have built and maintained over decades. This divide echoes Edison's comment to the practicalities of DC infrastructure, while Tesla saw AC as a force that could open doors to a new reality, cultural legacy, and the cycle of rebellion. So in the end, Edison's and Tesla's conflict, what happened? It wasn't just about those technologies, who would dominate, but which worldview would shape the future? Which worldview? So today's generational debate hold the same stakes, decisions made by millennials and Gen Z will define society's trajectory, while older generations thrive to protect the world they built. This cyclical clash of values, dreams, fears propels society forward, sometimes through painful transitions and resistant pushback. So just as AC ultimately prevailed, yes, AC did, but DC never disappeared. DC is still around. So today's generational divides are likely to lead to hybrid solutions. That's where we're going, hybrid solutions, where the older proven methods blend with transformative innovation. In the process, these conflicts carve out new societal norms that decades from now will face their own generational challenges. So you see, it's like a circle. It's going round. So from the current to the code, let me put it this way, where we're going now, from the current to the code, CODE, a new war of ideas, So when you let us look at reimagine today's generational divide as a new war of currents. We gain insight into the persistence of such conflicts and their importance in shaping technological and cultural evolution. As with Edison and Tesla, each side offers unique perspectives and potential, one grounded in proven stability, the other in visionary possibility. So the question now, let us look at the question. Was it, the question now, as it was in the 19th century, is which idea will light the way forward, and who will ultimately define the future? So that's the question we're asking today. So there's a war going on, and this war will continue to go on as long as humans exist on planet Earth. But again, the courage to accept change speaks volume of one generation's wisdom, passing it to the other generation. I remember I did a song recently, if you've seen it, I know a couple of you have seen it, Johnny Be Good, and when we're talking about generational conflict and all of that. So it is what it is. Today, the millennials look at the baby boomers as, we call them old school. 20 years from now, the millennials and the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas, like my daughter told me the other day, Daddy, I'm a Gen Alpha. I said, oh, really? So one day Gen Alpha may come and have Gen Pi. Pi, that symbol in math, we may come up with, because we have Z, we have X, we have Alpha. We may even have Beta, Gen Beta. And after Beta, we may even have Gen Gamma. So what are we saying here? The ideas would always come, but your ability to embrace it in a positive light shapes the society. I understand some of these ideas can be dangerous, if not curtailed and controlled. I'm not talking about woke culture now. I'm not talking about cancel culture, but I'm talking about progressive. Because we were created after His image, His likeness and form. Science tells us that the universe is still expanding. There are more galaxies. We are in the Milky Way, but there are more galaxies out there. God is still creating. So imagine that. That is who we are. We are always in a constant flux of change. So there's this battle. But if both generations would understand themselves, which I think we should, you get me, we'll move. Guys, this is what we came to do. on the show today. How do we approach it? How do we embrace it? How do we take it? Well, I think we should take it from that perspective. What we just shared now. That perspective. Change. Change is inevitable. You understand? Change is inevitable. Change will always look at us in the face. But you know what? We were created for change. We were created to manage change. We were created to deal with change in such a way that we will come out strong, better, bigger, and brighter. Before I go, I want to leave you with a thought. Excuse me. Yep, I wrote something down on my way to the studio, and I felt I should share it with you. It had to do with our response to change and how we should, as a people, manage change. Excuse me. I wrote it down on my phone, so I'm trying to search for it. You see, technology. Sometimes I look at myself and I said, am I now falling under the age or the group of old school? I don't know. Honestly, I do. I ask myself that question. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to read it out for you. It's something I wrote down before coming into the space. So I think we'll be doing this on the show more often. An opening thought with a closing thought. What do you think? Good. When fear rises, it's often the call, not for strength of our own or the wisdom we hold, but a whisper, soft yet bold, to step aside, to yield, to let his light unfold. It's not in our hands, nor in our might, but in surrender that we glimpse his sight. For with him, no bounds remain, no walls restrain. His possibilities dissolve every earthly chain. And so we trust, as faith renews. In each impossible, he proves true within. So with him, our path is drawn, unmeasured, vast, a journey in trust, his presence cast. So I think that's the best way to approach this war. So guys, this is me appealing to you again. Are you following us? Yes, on our social media handles. X, Instagram, Facebook, even on LinkedIn. I'm very much there. Then you subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is our promise, to always bring you wholesome content that will inspire you. I gotta go now. But you know how we say it on the show. My name is Amachree Isoboye. Till I come your way again.